one thing people try to do that it doesn't just work out the way that it should is they try to make men and women do the exact same things, which I don't think is the right thing to do. Now, it used to be when I first started watching MMA, women only fought 3-minute rounds, and I think making them 5 was the right call. So in that sense, having some uniformity across the board is correct. On the other hand, I always look to like gymnastics as a great example of how to do sports across genders correctly. You know, you want to they don't do the exact same events. They do some things that overlap with one another, but there are some things that they don't do that don't overlap. You know, some of the ring routines that the male gymnasts do, like the Iron Cross, like that should be something that men with tremendous upper body strength, they should focus on that. On the other hand, and I think men do some floor routines as well, but I think gymnastics has found a way to an extent have overlap, but have an individualization about what each competitor and each gender is really capable of doing. And what you end up seeing is that while there is some overlap between the events, even then the women kind of do it their own way, the men kind of do it their own way. And so what you get is a great celebration of what every athlete can do individually. And I think it just is so much smarter and it makes so much more sense. And it just looks, you just never think about the differences because there's enough built in where everybody gets to shine. I think the creative opportunities inside MMA, and I think that the smaller gloves as well, gives us a sense of what women can do against other women in appropriate contexts. Right? They're allowed their creative abilities, and you know, an arm bar. You know, what's going to win? Your arm and its joint integrity versus a 135-pound woman cranking on her who knows what she's doing. She's going to win. So they're able to exact a degree of brutality that they are in the men's game by virtue of some of the science that's applied. I really think one of the reasons that women's boxing is hampered is because of the gloves. I really believe they take away some of those gloves or make them much smaller, make them fight in like MMA-sized gloves or like kickboxing 6-ouncers where their hands are full covered, but they're still very small. I think you might get some different results. MMA was really great about opening up creative opportunities and then taking away some of the limits that might limit. A 115-pound woman is just not going to hit as hard as a 115-pound man in all likelihood, right? It's just not really going to happen. But if you can make the gloves smaller and give them an opportunity to use a series of weapons where their bodies can do a lot of different things, you begin to see that there is a lot of opportunity in that. It's so wide open that it really allows for a lot of different possibility, whereas a lot of these other sports are very narrow. There's a question about should the actually I don't know what rim height is in the WNBA. I should sort of be careful about that. But I feel like if sports leagues were willing to adjust, you might get a little bit of a better response to women's athletics. The last thing I'd say, though, is it can go the other way, too. I don't like that women only play 3 sets in tennis. They should play 5. I think that's where a lack of uniformity actually hurts the women's game a little bit, even though Serena's been a big star and that kind of thing. I'd like to see more of that.